Alright guys, welcome back. As you can see here, we have the new RC four-wheel drive Trailfinder 2 Scottsdale K10 edition. This is the latest release of ready-to-own vehicles from RC four-wheel drive, and being as I'm a team driver, I was able to get my hands on one a little earlier than some, and I'm pretty stoked because I have some pretty cool plans for it, but I figured I would jump on here, put out a video, fill in some blanks and details that you may want to know about it. Yeah, so let's get this thing covered. So for starters, it has an amazing blue metallic paint job. It's gorgeous, automotive quality, without a doubt. Basically clear coat. The truck is just really nice right out of the box. It's pretty well detailed. There are some little details that are missing that you can kind of fill in. Things like, like the black, like weather stripping trim around like the vent windows, key lock cylinders are body color, little things like that. But overall, very, very nicely done. The lenses are done very nice for like the, like the brake lights and tail lights and the corner lights and marker lights, turn signals, things like that. That all looks fantastic. It does come with the optional grille for the Blazer that they had done. So that's a nice little feature. They detailed the bow tie emblem in that like yellowish gold color that Chevy does. So really, really nice. Typical RC four-wheel drive fashion. The hood opens, much like the Blazer, and the tailgate does also indeed drop down. And one of the nice things is it's not necessarily just a Blazer body modified set into a pickup truck. It would appear to be that they did a new mold for it. For starters, you have the bed is obviously a new mold. The tailgate handle is in the proper place for a pickup truck, which is a nice little detail because you'll often see guys do the pickup truck conversions and they don't change that handle. They leave it as the K5. One of the other things that Joshua Dutton, RC Everyday, pointed out was that they did increase the wheel well opening on the front, which is nice. That'll help with the tire scrubbing in comparison to the stock style Blazer body. I took my bike out before and I measured it, and it would seem that the rear wheel wells on these bodies did have the extra clearance, but for whatever reason the front one did not. Not really sure why that was, but now the front and rear arches are matched. Should open up some clearance. Won't have so many tire rub issues, so that's definitely a nice little change. The interior's nice. They did seem to fix the dash location as compared to the Blazer, which is something that companies like Shrink RC made little relocation mounts, or if you're crafty with styrene, you're able to move that up a couple millimeters, but that's already done for you. So that's also a nice little feature as well. It comes with the stock Chevy style, I guess, rally wheels or whatever you want to call them, and the BFG tires, which is their finally like more licensed mud terrain, BFG mud terrain tires, as opposed to the old like mud thrashers or whatever they were called. So yeah, out of the box, really nice looking truck. I'm stoked to start doing things to it. I think for starters, I'm going to work on some of the detail work just to make the body even nicer than it already is. And then I do have plans continuing in my last year or two fashion of building old school style show trucks. So one, we got to come up with a good name for this thing. I've got a couple lined up, but I'm still undecided at the moment. Two, obviously we're going to stick as biggest tire as we possibly can underneath it. Three, definitely getting a bug shield. Four, definitely getting a roll bar, lots of KC lights, and we'll kind of take it from there. I did get an order in from Shapeways, so I have a Mod 19 roll bar for it. However, something must have happened when they peeled it off the print bed or something, because it actually has a defective lower stanchion mount on the what would be the passenger side. So I'm in contact with Shapeways. I'm hoping they can resolve that for me. I also went with some West-made shifters, so we're going to ditch the automatic column shift. We're going to go to a 4-speed on the floor, a little better looking four-wheel drive shifter as well. The decal sheet that they provide with the truck is actually really nice. It gives you like a wood grain to put over the dash, or even something like almost like the stainless look or whatever. So a couple of different options. They also include the like molding cladding that would be on the side, kind of similar to like how it's done on this Blazer here. So the decal sheet's actually really nice. That was an added little bonus. In their typical ready-to-run fashions, it's got the 3-channel, remote and all that stuff. It's got their, 45-turn, crawler motors that they do, and I think it's like their twister servos or whatever they are. The electronics are great for the entry-level person. I'm probably going to end up, changing some of that stuff up, but that's usually what you do with ready-to-runs. As far as I know, there will be the body set available separately, so that'll be coming if the blue is not your thing. For me, I personally like when I have a really nice paint job to start with, because as we've talked about in the past, I seldomly have good results with laying down like a nice basic clear coat paint job. So I was pretty stoked that this is already painted nicely, and we're going to work in some old school graphics as well. I got to just figure out what I want to do with that. But yeah, so I've got plans. It's going to be really cool. A couple other things to note. It does come now with K44 axles, which is a nice thing to see rather than just the Yoda axles, because that wouldn't make any sense, but we all know how sometimes the RTRs go. So nice to see the more proper style axle under the truck. It does have lift blocks front and rear. The rears are angled up for a little bit better pinion angle. Shocks in the rear are chassis mounted. They're a shorter 70 mil, and it's a single front shock mount with what I would believe to be is regular TF2 style front shock hoops. It does also come with inner fender wells, another nice little feature there. They do seem to be, another key thing here, they do seem to be a little bit thicker than their separately released ones previously. So I know that some of us, I would read in the community and things like that, some people would have problems with them tearing or ripping. So these ones do seem to may have a little bit thicker Lexan, in my opinion. So they should be a little bit more durable and hold up to the body coming on and off and all that good stuff. As far as, I'm trying to think what else I can really tell you guys. I know, unfortunately, I received the truck a little bit late, so everyone else has kind of gotten a head start on me with, talking about it. So I don't want to bore you guys with stuff that you probably already know about the truck. Does have inner door panels, really, really nicely done as well. These are going to be, I think, some of the parts and stuff that you'll see guys, switch over to the guys that had already done the previously modded, K5s to pick up truck body conversions using like Mod 19 parts or Shrink RC and things like that. So it does have a little bit heavier duty style body mounts. The only thing that I will say that I'm not too crazy about is, so the one body mount is actually in the bed, and that's kind of weird. I mean, I understand that they needed to be able to support the bed because it does have the body mounts here in the rear, but it has them in the bed. There's already a lot of misconception right now that the body is one piece. I could assure you it is not. It is not like a Cloudbuster body. It is two pieces. On the ready-to-run model, this one here, it is glued together. So was the 87 extra cab, McFly truck, the one that comes black. That was also glued together, as well as the red variant of that truck that was sold as an almost ready-to-run version distributed through Tower Hobbies. That bed is also glued to the cab on those Toyotas. However, if you are careful, I actually on 2Rad did manage to just use like an eyeglass screwdriver and gently pry, and was able to break the glue release, and then I was able to add the cab back wall and do something with the bed back wall. I am going to be curious to see if with the body sets, if they're going to give you a cab wall. I do not know that yet. I would like to see that from them, because I think, if guys want to build like a truggy or a flatbed or something else with it, that would be a nice feature to have, for the guys that don't necessarily have time to, get out the styrene and start cutting and gluing and all that fun stuff. So, yeah, really cool truck. Off to a great start right out of the box. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer below. If you're not already, please make sure you like and follow the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Hit the bell if you want notifications. Keep an eye on the Instagram feed and the Facebook feed, Mike's RC World. I am posting a lot more information and things of that truck there. I'll be kind of doing a little bit of like the build up of it on there as well. And hopefully I can get back to the channel and update you guys as I go along. Like I said, I do have a bunch of cool things planned for it. I haven't even had a chance to drive it yet, but I already have a whole slew of parts on order. And then stuff that I plan on making, like my bug shields and things like that. So yeah, we're going to deck this thing out. It's going to get some probably weld racing wheels, bigger tires. It's getting an R4, full scale driveline, and we'll decide on some sort of power plant for underneath the hood. And yeah, we'll go from there. So I think that kind of covers it. And let me bring you guys up close with it so you can kind of see it firsthand. And like I said, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them below. Thanks. See you guys soon. Alright, so up close, trying to get the basement lighting here to cover the flake in the paint. But like I said, it is really, really nicely painted right from RC four-wheel drive. Like I said, you got those factory style looking rally wheels with the BFG mud tires on there. It's got some really nicely detailed Scottsdale K10 emblems. And if you look closely, you can kind of see this newly increased larger front wheel well. And what's nice is it still retains its proportions. It doesn't look like it's, done where it would be like goofy looking or whatever. Inside, you can see the dash, and it is now raised up. Apologize for the glare. And if you look closely in there, you can see the door panels as well. They're really nicely done. Like I said, the truck has the standard, RC four-wheel drive, electronics in there. The hood opens and closes, nicely with the hinges. That was one of the other things you should probably know too is, when they finish the body, anyone that's built one of these before knows that you have to prep the body first before you paint it. Like you have to check your fitment of your body lines, because otherwise what will happen is when you paint it, even though paint is, I think, measured in like microns or whatever it is, if you lay your paint heavy and you haven't sanded your body lines appropriately, you'll be rubbing the paint and things like that. So whoever they have doing the bodies to them, obviously took that into account, and the hood opens and closes very nicely. So that's a key thing. And I would say the exact same thing goes for the tailgate as well. You can see that the handle is in the proper place, as opposed to this one here, which I had bought this truck as a project that someone had started, and it maintains the K5 style handle in the back there. So nice little touch there. Got the full drop bed. I think what we're probably going to do is with that is I might do some like a spray bed liner, kind of like I did in this one here. So just to break it up, give it a little contrast, and I'll do some details like the lock cylinders, as well as drawing in like painting in the gap lines for like the doors and the fuel tank and things of that nature, just to break it up a little bit. It just gives it a nice little edge over what you'll see with a lot of other people's then that may not take the time to do those type of details. So overall, really crispy looking truck. You can kind of see, even in comparison to the Cloudbuster over here, the body is, it's definitely like 1/8ish, 1/9ish scale. Say that 3 times fast. Whereas in my opinion, a Cloudbuster is really more like, I'm going to say, closer to 12th scale rather than what they listed as being 10th scale. Other people on the internet may argue that I'm wrong. It is what it is. That's my opinion of it. You compare something even like the Midnight Pumpkin body and things like that. Those are all more closer to 12th scale from Tamiya. So this thing is definitely significantly larger. I'll toss up a picture to kind of show the difference between the two that I took with another Cloudbuster body that I have that's has a drop bed, and it was done into a long bed, and even with adding 3/4 of an inch to the bed, it's still not nearly it's not nearly as big as this body is. So yeah, so like I said, beautiful paint job right out of the box. I would suspect it'll run like any other TF2. I like my realism, so I'm okay with leaf spring suspension and not being the world's greatest crawler. And for me, because I'm gonna kind of do the old school, show truck theme, something similar to my Northern Nightmare here. I'm okay with sacrificing some of the the working performance of being an all-out crawler for looking really rad. So, all right, guys. Like I said, any questions? Feel free to drop below, and I'll see you guys at another time. Thanks.